Hello, strangers. It's me again. All right, video 3. Let's talk about the essay, right? So this is the first of our major essays. Hang on. Before I get into this, I know that my first 2 videos were a little on the lengthy side. I think they both came in at about 24 minutes. I don't intend to have every video be 24 minutes. So I do have the tendency to ramble a bit and go off on tangents and such, but I will try my best to keep the rest of these videos to a minimum as much as I can. Okay, let's talk about the first essay, the narrative essay. If we look at the assignment sheet here, you can find this on lesson 1, week 1, scroll down to here. Readings, right? So this is the assignment sheet. This is the rubric that I will use to grade it. Now, let's take a look at both of those. So essay 1 is the narrative essay, right? What this is you're telling me a story about yourself. And one thing I really like about this paper is that it's very clear. This is 20% of your overall grade, so it's a pretty important thing to do correctly. But we're going to do it fine. I have faith in all of us. We'll be fine. Your connection should provide a deeper insight into your audience. For this, you will identify something you believe to be true, something that you believe in, and then you need to tell me how you came to understand that, right? What do you believe in? Why do you believe it? And how you came that way. It's only going to be 2 to 3 pages, double spaced. When we're starting out writing, I know it sounds like a lot, but it's really, that's not very much writing for this first essay. It's all double-spaced. It's not that bad. But I will say, one thing I will say about this. When it says 2 to 3 pages, that doesn't mean 1 full page and then 3 sentences on the next page. Right? That's not 2 pages. It means most of that second page is filled in with something. All right, so no, don't cheat me on that. MLA format. We talked about MLA format last time. That is simply the structure of the paper, where the identifying information goes, the spacing, the header, all those things are MLA format. And again, if you need a refresher on that, check the textbook or go to OWL Purdue website that I've been talking about. So to complete this assignment, we need to identify the issue using invention techniques. Those are just brainstorming. Just think about some things that you feel strongly about, right? Those can be nearly anything. You don't have to limit your paper to non-controversial topics. You don't have to limit your paper to something you think I would enjoy reading. Just tell me something that you believe to be true. It's going to be a much more effective paper if you are really invested in it, right? We're going to gather ideas based on your experiences. We're going to establish a thesis and academic level paragraphs. We're going to think about the topic that we have chosen, and we're going to make a statement about it. We're going to make not a commanding statement, but a definitive statement about it. Let's say I really believe that. Gosh, I don't know. Well, something I kind of believe is that people on the older side maybe talk about how things are so much worse these days, right? The world is so much more dangerous. It's so much more horrible than it used to be. I don't know if I agree with that. I kind of have the opinion that things are different for sure. Absolutely, things are different. But I don't know if they're any worse or better. They're just different, right? So I might write a paper about that. I might say my thesis statement may be, I believe that the world is the same as it ever has been, just tweaked a little bit. It has a different costume on this time around. So that might be my thesis. We write a rough draft, and with rough drafts, the thing about rough drafts is they don't have to follow any format. They don't have to follow any structure. They can be of any length. They don't have to be complete sentences even. I mean, when you turn in the rough draft to me, I need them to be incomplete sentences so I understand what you're saying. But as you're getting started on your paper, this brainstorming thing can just be free writing, can be just gibberish. It doesn't have to make sense, so long as it helps you get to your end goal of writing your paper. That's all it needs to do. And then finally, we'll submit a polished academic level essay using an MLA format. Next week, we're turning this essay in by the end of the week. So if you haven't gotten started on it, it's a good idea to start getting the gears turning. Start coming up with some ideas here, because I said in my introduction video, the more space you give these assignments, the better they will be. The more time you allow yourself to work on these assignments, the better they will be and the better your grade will be. So try to give yourself as much time as possible to work on these. Invention techniques, these are brainstorming, listing, clustering, questioning, preliminary research. Just simply, what are all the things that I would like to write about? Remember, we talked about pathos in these essays and how you have to care about what you're writing, because if you don't, no one else will. So think about something that you really feel strongly about before you select something, before you finalize your thesis. Plan and organize, identify your thesis statement, establish your main ideas for each paragraph. For a 2 to 3 page paper, double-spaced, 2 to 3 page paper, I would say it needs to have an introductory paragraph, a concluding paragraph, and probably 3 body paragraphs. Now, with 2 to 3 pages, those body paragraphs can't be too large, but I think 3 body paragraphs would be about enough material for this first essay. So think about what main topic, what main point do you want each of those body paragraphs to be, right? They need to be different topics. They need to be different aspects of your belief. They need to be different sides of your message that you're getting across. But of course, they all need to relate to the thesis. They all have to follow in unity. We talked about unity last time with your overall paper. Appropriate evidence, blah, 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 and then concluding paragraphs. Again, don't use in conclusion. Just wrap up the paper. We'll be fine. And then draft and revise. Different people write papers differently. I write papers differently than some other people write papers. When I was in college, I was able to sit down and write a rough draft in one go. Just sit down and start writing and get through it. And a lot of people can't do that, right? And now, of course, I wasn't finished when I did that. I had to take that and go back and change it and revise it and edit it and take things out and put things in. But a lot of people can't do that. They can't sit down in kind of a stream of consciousness way and start a paper and just finish it in one going. So if you know what kind of writer you are, then follow that. If you don't, then I would strongly recommend that you take these essays in pieces, in segments. Start with your introductory paragraph. Think about what you want to write about, and then present it to me, right? Here is what it is. Here's my introduction. And then sit on that. Sit on that for, I don't know, a few hours or a day or so, and then come back to it. And think, and while, during that gap, during that break in writing, you can start to think about different aspects, different attributes, different parts of your thesis that you want to focus on in your paper, right? Give yourself some space. Let it marinate. Let it percolate in there. Evidence for checking for proper use of MLA citation. Again, this first essay does not need sources. Okay. Our next 2 essays will be very important to have sources correct. But for this first essay here, I'm not going to ask you to bring in any outside sources. You can if you would like to. You are welcome to bring in some outside evidence or points to support your belief. If you do that, make sure that you are following MLA format as closely as possible. You may find information on MLA in our textbooks, on OWL Purdue, or simply if you just email me with some questions, I'll help you. And again, probably in an upcoming video very soon, I'll talk more specifically about MLA citation. But for this first essay, it's not necessary. And then finally, this last one here, formatting and grammatical errors. I will say that I'm assuming that most of us use Word or Google Docs or Pages, or probably one of those three, right? And I'm not 100% sure on Google Docs, but I know that Word, and I'm pretty sure on Pages, the red squiggly line means misspelled word. We all know that, right? We've all been writing in word processors long enough. We know what the red squiggly line means. Do we know what the blue squiggly line means? Not everyone knows the blue squiggly line. The blue squiggly line is a grammatical suggestion, okay? Normally, it's telling you, hey, this is wrong, you should fix it. You either have like a missing comma or the wrong contraction or something like that. But it's not always correct. So make sure that you go through and you look at it and you think about it. And if you just disagree with Word, then that's fine. Because Word is not always correct, but it usually is for the blue squiggly lines. So be on the lookout for the red and the blue lines in your editing, in your revision. And then here are some prompts. Prompts. Tell a story about yourself, right? Be specific. Put some detail in there, right? Writing is always more fun, more engaging to read with detail, specific details in there. Ground it in the events that have shaped your core values. Tell me what it is about your life, what happened that instilled such a strong belief structure. Why do you care so much about this thing? Why do you believe so strongly about this thing that you would go and try to convince someone else that it's an important thing? Why? What happened? What is it about it that means so much to you? Be brief. Yeah, it's about 2 to 3 double-spaced pages. Try not to go over that. I have a lot of papers to grade. And so while I do applaud your enthusiasm, keep it down, please. Name your belief. Talk about. So this is your thesis statement, basically. For this essay, the words "I believe" are going to be important. Try to use "I believe" in your thesis statement. Chronological order, positive. Okay. Now, this is good. Don't write about what you don't believe. Don't try to convince me that something is wrong or something is not the way to do it. Tell me about what you do believe. Write optimistically, right? Try to avoid statements of religious dogma, preaching, editorializing. You're not trying to convert me to a religion. You're not trying to convert me to a political party. Just tell me why your topic is so important to you. Not why it's so important, not why it should be so important to me, if that makes sense. And then be personal. Again, for this essay and this essay only, we can be casual, we can be conversational, we can be personal. We can use "I think," when you, us. So other papers after this, we have to avoid those like the plague, but this time it's okay. And then, okay, all right. So this paper will be due the end of next week. Hang on. I don't know how wide this camera is. The end of next week, okay? Next Saturday by midnight. That is the 29th. The August 29th by midnight is when this paper will be due on Moodle. When I receive it, I will grade it and I will use this. This is called a rubric. This is a guide for how I will grade your papers. Mechanics of the paper will be worth 35 points. Formatting is 25. Critical thinking 45. Organization is 50. Content is 45. So you can see here, organization and content are the most important parts of your paper. Organization meaning that the information flows, that the reading is easy to do, you don't get lost. It has an introduction, it has body paragraphs, it has a conclusion, kind of in that order. And then content. Content will vary depending on what kind of paper we're writing. But for this paper, your content will be your belief and how well you communicate that belief to me, and your conviction for it. So anyway, I'll give you a score based on these. You can even see one thing that might be helpful for us to do is when you write your paper, open up this rubric right here, which again is on Moodle. You can access it, and grade it yourself. Take these parts of a grade and go through your own paper and grade yourself and see, and get out the red pen, make some marks on there. And if you see that, well, this is kind of confusing, I had my girlfriend or my boyfriend read this, or my mom or dad read this, and they said, okay, hold on. One thing to be careful about. One thing to be careful about when asking friends and family to review our papers. Our friends and family love us and they don't want us to be unhappy, and so they're going to say, it's great. It's not always great. And they have a hard time telling us that sometimes. So be careful who you ask to review your papers. Make sure that you can trust them to communicate a clear understanding of how the paper is, what's wrong with it, where it can be improved. Anyway, it would be helpful for you to take this and review your own paper and try to find any problems with it. Okay? Can you see me? I think you can see me. Hope you can see me. All right. How many minutes is that? Am I doing good? That's only 16. That's only 16. Yeah, we got 8 more minutes. No, I'm not going to go 8 more minutes. We're almost done. One more thing I want to tell you about is deadlines. We have 3 assignments this week. We have 2 discussion questions, and we have an individual activity here. Make sure, and I mentioned this before, I'm just reminding, I'm reinforcing these deadlines, yes? The initial post, your post on this first discussion question is due tomorrow, okay? And then your one response to a student's post is due Friday, the 21st, Friday, is due Friday, okay? Don't forget that. If you haven't done discussion 1, do it by tomorrow. The response is due by Friday. Discussion 2 is due, click here, Thursday. Ooh. The initial post is due Thursday for discussion 2. And the response again is due Saturday. Okay? A lot of our assignments will be due on Saturdays, but make sure that you're following these discussion questions, because those deadlines, those due dates do fall in the middle of the week quite often. And then our third assignment here, the individual activity, is due Saturday. Right here, yeah, Saturday. Okay? So that's all I have for you tonight. I think I have 2 more videos to do this week, I believe. Yeah, on the writing process and rhetorical appeals. But I'll probably combine those into one video. I'll probably do those hopefully tomorrow. I'll get those out to you. But that is Essay 1. If you have any questions, please let me know, and let's get writing. All right. Have a nice night. I'll see you next time. Where's my stop button? Goodbye.